X's tricky path from neglect to Pebble Beach Triumph. The Gyro X takes to the stage, on two wheels, after winning the Dean Batchelor Trophy at the 2017 Pebble Beach Concours Elegance. Photo by Bruce Sweetman. It was to a collective gasp of amazement that the Gyro X drove up the ramp onto the podium at the Pebble Beach Concours D and number 39, Elegance, to accept the Dean Batchelor Trophy. As the two-wheel, gyrostabilized vehicle stood stock still, Lane Motor Museum restoration technician Michael Hüby accepted the award and smiled for the cameras before finding first gear and driving off to claps, whoops and cheers. Then Hüby headed back down the 18th fairway to the American Dream cars of the 1960s class grouping. An inspired 10-car special class curated by Ken Gross, it included Dean Jeffries and number 39, 1963 Mantray and Herb Adams and number 39, class-winning Pontiac Vivint. The 1967 Gyro X, it seems, was the right vehicle from the right time. As Lane Motor Museum President Jeff Lane said, "How many times is there going to be an appropriate class for the Gyro X?" The Gyro X was a collaboration between innovative designer Alex Tremulous and esteemed aerospace engineer Tom Summers, shown above, from right. The prolific Tremulous, well known for designing the 1941 Chrysler Thunderbolt and the 1948 Tucker, also worked on the two-wheel 1961 Ford Gyron concept car and the 1966 Gyronaut X1, a motorcycle that set the land speed record. Despite their names, neither of these vehicles ended up with the gyroscopes originally envisioned, so it was auspicious when Tremulous teamed up with gyroscope expert Summers in 1966 to form Gyro Transport Systems Incorporated. The fruit of their labor debuted at the 1967 New York Auto Show as part of an exhibit called The Wonderful World of Wheels. The Gyro X was fully functional and received glowing press reports, but, with no real prospects for mass production, Gyro Transport Systems Incorporated dissolved in 1970 and the vehicle faded into obscurity, gone, but not forgotten. This historical photo shows the Gyro X with its stabilizing gyroscope, the Silver Sphere, removed. 50 years after its debut at the 1967 International Automobile Show in New York City, the Gyro X will re-emerge at the 2017 Pebble Beach Concours Elegance as part of a class called. 4 decades later, in 2009, Houston-based collector Mark Brinker saw the Gyro X in a YouTube video posted by Las Vegas entertainer John Windsor, who had received the Gyro X as loan collateral and was fishing for information. While Brinker noted that the vehicle in number 39's gyroscope was gone and it sported 3 wheels, plus a VW engine and transaxle, he knew exactly what he was looking at. He purchased the Gyro X with plans to restore it, but a year later called his friend Lane in Nashville, Tennessee. "He knew I loved the thing and he called me and said he and number 39 decided it was too much," recalled Lane. The museum purchased the car in December 2011. This landed the Gyro X in the able hands of Hüby. He began by rebuilding the frame, relying on photos supplied by Tremulous and number 39, nephew, Steve Tremulous, who inherited his uncle and number 39's archives. "We were looking at pictures for days to figure out how they did it and scaling parts from picture dimensions," said Hüby. "I made the whole drivetrain, the swing arm, the rear suspension and the chain drive, and we sourced an original Cooper engine. We tested the brake system, the shifter, made it drive, basically. After that, we went on to the gyro experience. We had great detailed photographs of the engine compartment and underneath with the body off," said Steve Tremulous, "but no instruction on how to get the Gyro X to actually run. It took several years to find a suitable partner to help figure it out. On a random tip, and with an Italian restaurant owner acting as his interpreter, Lane contacted an Italian company, Agency Impianti, that specializes in gyroscopic stabilization of large yachts. Company founder Stefano De Simone agreed to have a look. He visited the museum in 2015 and took up the challenge, a year and a half later returning to install a custom-made gyroscope. The restoration of the Gyro X employed the same types of mechanical components that Tremulous and Summers used originally, including a large, hydraulically driven gyroscope and valve blocks to control the precession, or angular movement, of the gyro on its vertical axis. DeSimone developed the software to handle sensor inputs and manage the valve blocks that control the gyro and number 39's precession and, thus, the balance of the vehicle. Modern electronic sensors and computers provide for finer control of the operational elements than the original components ever could. In May 2017, DeSimone and Hüby tweaked the systems and tested 90 iterations of software while burning through 15 tanks of fuel. Ion number 39, probably the person with the most miles behind the wheel of a Gyro X, said HU Dialysis by. On Friday, June 2, Hüby and DeSimone cloaked the chassis in its bare aluminum body and Lane took his first spin behind the wheel. He gave the Gyro X a thumbs up. "Great," he said. "Now, just a little bit of speed. Right? A lot more." Hüby and DeSimone worked over the weekend to lock in what they dubbed the Pebble Beach software. More speed would have to wait for another day. The following week, DeSimone flew back to Italy and, with just over a month until the Gyro X would ship to Pebble Beach, Hüby began a complete disassembly of the complex vehicle. The frame and body were sent off-site for powder coat and paint, leaving behind a pile of parts, plumbing and wires. At Pebble, the Gyro X was named number 039T set up for speed, but its self-stabilizing action was on full display. Photo by Bruce Sweetman. On the morning of Friday, August 11, after many long days and nights of assembly and finish work, the Gyro X was loaded onto an enclosed trailer headed west, and 5 days later the gleaming red Gyro X was unloaded onto the grounds of the Equestrian Center in Pebble Beach. Brinker and Lane were on hand as Hüby fired up the 1,275cc Cooper engine, powered the hydraulic pumps to bring the gyroscope up to operational speed and took a few laps around the dusty parking area. They were all smiles. The next morning, Hüby glided around in the Gyro X for the appreciative audience that hung around after the Tour D and number 39, Elegance departed. Then, early Sunday morning, along a pathway lined with fans and photographers, the Gyro X drove onto Pebble Beach in number 39's 18th fairway for one of the world and number 39's most prestigious automotive events. Lane and his team were engaged all day, talking with folks drawn to the unusual vehicle. The legendary Herschel Jr. Conway stopped by and recalled how he painted the Gyro X for Tremulous 50 years ago. "This is why we come to shows," Lane said. The Dean Batchelor Trophy, said to be awarded to the most significant car related to our hot rod heritage, brings deserved recognition to the Gyro X and its brilliant creators, as well as to those who brought it back to life through research, hard work and dogged optimism. The drive to the podium at the Pebble Beach Concours D and number 39, Elegance is one that few vehicles ever make, and Lane was thrilled with the outcome. And he reveals his long-term goals when he notes that DeSimone will return to Nashville this fall to do a little more work on stabilization. That can only mean the Gyro X and number 39's next drive will be faster, and longer than the length of the 18th fairway. The hard-earned Dean Batchelor Trophy. Photo by Bruce Sweetman. By Bruce Sweetman. Classic cars, car life, car news, photo, events, other news, technology, Pebble Beach Concours.